I've also added a couple of sheds since last week. Not that I'm using them yet. I might use them. I'm kind of looking at using the sheds to measure out space without placing them, and then figuring out if I want them or not. I can't afford to place any sheds right now, so that's not a big deal. It's just future planning. But apart from that, it's really looking at my needs for next week and deciding what pieces of equipment will fit with it. I actually have some scone mix in the pantry, but yes, I don't know. Yeah, I sort of texture of an American biscuit is like a scone, but scones have far more sugar in them, and American biscuits don't have fruit in them. Yes. Yeah, we tend to use dumplings where Americans use scones on, use biscuits on sort of a chicken vegetable bake. Sultanas, raisins, yes, whatever you want to call them. Still fruit. Shriveled up fruit. But, yeah, that's still one of my challenges, even after 23 years here, is figuring out what's American for. Americans do not have sultanas, they have raisins. I think functionally they're the same thing. But it's sort of trying to keep track of, I think the big one is aubergines and, eggplants, yes. Aubergines and eggplants. Yes, lots of pepper, unless you're me. In which case you put musket powder on it. And they do not sponsor the channel, but musketpowder.com. It is a mix of pepper and salt and other seasonings, including caffeine. And they sell it in 5 different varieties. There's the black label, which is the original. There's the red label, which is with spicy pepper. There is the brown label, which I think is barbecue. There is the yellow label, which is honey mustard, and the white label, which is sort of a dry ranch mix in it. And it's still effectively the musket powder plus a little bit of other flavouring. And I'll tell you what, fried eggs or scrambled eggs with red label musket powder, absolutely brilliant. And if you're using musket powder, you don't have to put salt and pepper and garlic powder and onion powder on everything. You can just throw the garlic powder in and be done. Which kind of goes against my usual thing. Every time I move, and that's very frequently, it has been very frequently throughout my life, first thing I do is stock up the the spice cabinet, and I tend to mix my own. Yeah, I grab the individual spices and throw them in and see what comes out, and you never eat the same thing twice because, hey, I don't know how much fenugreek or cayenne pepper I put in it last time. The bacon grease, yes. Yes, we save off the bacon grease, we use that to fry the eggs, but then I just top it with musket fat. Eggs have a very weird flavour if you don't add salt and or pepper. So I always season my eggs. And musket powder makes a good choice for that. 70% complete. That's good. As I said, we're already way beyond what the cart capacity is, so we have to take this down to the grain mill. I guess what I could do is I can load the cart up here. And then we'll run the harvester on a worker while we take this off to wherever it needs to go. Now, one question I do have is, let's turn details on. Delivered. They want 26,200 litres. That's interesting, because I'm not sure there's that much on the field. Truth be told. We shall find out. The other thing I'm also not sure about is, do I get the flour? Supposedly they changed the contract system so that when you deliver stuff to your facility, you don't get the grain, you just get paid for doing the contract. Okay, worker go. I'll jump out, jump in there, tractor go. We'll do driving in the cab because it's the middle of summer. Oh, now my wife likes her popcorn, and I don't think she's ever used the bacon grease for that. I will have to suggest that to her. I'm not so much of a fan of popcorn. I will eat it from time to time, but it's not really something I'm. I need some popcorn. I'm going to open the window when I'm at the grain mill, because it's getting really hot in here. I do have the doors to the lounge closed because Mrs. Osa's taking a nap. She's not sleeping well because of her medical issues, so she's like waking up every 2 hours and then taking time to fall asleep, and it's just not a good sleep. But it is 9:44 and she has to go and get the kids soon. And I have to drink tea while I'm driving and end up all over the road. So yes, along with cutting lengths of wood to make legs out of, I watched a video on Monday of someone making some bench work for his new model railway, and I've been fighting, what's the best way to make the legs for the bench. The bench work is fine, I've got that, I know how to do that, but legs has always given me a problem. And because I don't have a router or something like that to shape the wood, making it I guess stepped is the best way to describe it, is not something I can do consistently well, and I would probably end up destroying more wood than I use. So I've just been trying to find a good one, what's a good method that works. And I watched a video, the guy has come up with a good method, and then someone else commented, and if you need adjustable feet, what I do is I do this on top of this. And it's sort of, yes, this will work really well. So that's what I've been... Why are you not tipping? This is the grain mill. There we go. Oh, because tipping isn't that button. And we are 75% transported, so yes, we need 6,000 litres more. Who knew? So we've actually ended up with 2 used tele-trucks on this map. I do need something at the store, and I'm probably thinking something like a front loader. So probably the Kubota, but something that can pick up big bags and pallets. And so that, front loader is a little bit more useful. Obviously skid steers and telehandlers do not have a big bag lifter. There is a Kubota front loader, so that might work out for us. And well, maybe we'll just wait until one comes up in a sale. So yes, so that was the legs thing. The other thing is that I had 2 locomotives that are DC controlled, and I needed to get DCC control. And oh my goodness, getting chips for model locomotives is a nightmare. Like, nobody has any. Not only that, is the 2 locomotives I have are a fair few years old, 5+ years old, so they use some of the older control boards inside, and those are even more rare than the modern ones. So I have been hunting around for 2 identical control chips, and I just missed my turn. I found a small model shop, back end of nowhere, I think Massachusetts, and obviously not a mainstream store, and they were advertising them, so I thought, okay, well, I will order some, and I want 2, so that's tricky. Everywhere I was looking was just saying, we're out of stock, we're out of stock. So this one was sort of, okay, I will place an order, and I hope it comes. And what was kind of initially worrying was it said something along the lines of, the order was placed, and then it went to a status of sort of trying to find what you want, and it's sort of that does not look good. That looks like they're going to the wholesaler and trying to buy from them. And then about 24 hours later it went into a status of shit, so I said, oh, they've got some good. So that's That's awesome. They arrived on Friday. Now I've got to take a little bit of time to remove the blank plate, put the chip in, and then extract the chip information so I can order a couple of sound files for them. Which also, getting the sound files, not a problem. I did program a locomotive, I think about 2 weeks ago. So that's dropped on, that's dropped on. Put that in drive at stop. We'll jump out into the hedge. Let's not jump out into the hedge. Okay, so we do have more oats here than we actually needed by 2,000. I think I'm just going to drop all of this off at the grain mill. The advantage with doing that is now if we own, well, the advantage, not if, the advantage with doing that is we own the grain mill. So everything past what this contract needs is going to be credited to our grain quantity at the mill. And I will be able to turn the mill on and process that grain into flour. So it's not the best time to sell oats, so that's a good thing. Processing the oats we have into flour means that, you know, a month, 2 months is going to go by before the flour is ready to be sold, and I think the flour peaks about the same time as oats. But I can take that flour down to the bakery and turn it into bread, which means it's going to be even more valuable. Even though we're selling bread on a monthly basis, we're making around about $3,000 a month on bread. And as we expand our capabilities, I'm kind of expecting us to exceed the capacity of both the bakery and the flour mill. And when that happens, obviously, we're just going to end up either having to sell the grain when it's best to, or converting it into flour if we've got the capacity, and selling the flour rather than converting it, you know, giving it a little bit longer to convert into bread. Something I was saying the other week with clothing and furniture, they are incredibly slow productions. Very lucrative, but very slow. So if you end up chopping down a ton of trees, you're pretty much going to sell a lot of the wood rather than converting it into planks or converting the planks into furniture. You just don't have the capacity unless you build a lot of furniture production facilities. Oh, that's actually barley. Okay. Yay, barley. And we dropped that off. The contract's finished, but we didn't get bonus money. And the reason we didn't get bonus money is because we got the balance of barley in processable stuff. So that'll give us about 2,000 litres of, probably about 2,500 litres of flour. Okay, we did a contract. Let's collect on that contract. Oh, this actually tells you wheat, barley, wheat, oats. Nice. Cultivating, fertilizing. So what else is down where we're near? 131, 94, 93. How about I look at the map rather than... So 94, that's 84. Where on earth is 94 and 93? I am... Oh, 94 and 93. They're either side of that road up there, opposite the dude, the store. And 131, oops, was right next to them, opposite, across the way. So 131, 94 and 93. Yeah, they could be a thing. 131 is oats, wheats and barleys. 3 different things. So, as we complete the advantage with doing those, we can't obviously double up the contract. You know, if we've only got half a harvester full, I'll start the next field and yay. But it does mean that when I deliver grains, it won't be credited to the wrong contract. Which at the moment, because once you've completed a contract, if you save the game and exit, when you come back the contract will disappear. So you can do one field, deliver the stuff, and if the stuff is for is also good for another field, then you run the risk of having the wrong contract complete on you. That's not a good deal. 131 should be just across here. So yay. I guess I'll leave a little gap on my left so that if the farmer who lives down there needs to, he can come back. He can come that way. Because I don't want to block his access. Especially not since I'm probably about to harvest his field for him. So I'll leave this here. We'll take the header over. How do we do this one? Now what I can do is actually drive straight through. I think there's another path off to the left somewhere along here. Or not. I might have to drive all the way up and through the yard. Maybe this is road access. Indeed it is. Okay, that's useful. I thought there was another way into this set of fields before you reach the farm. Sky is looking a little hazy here. I still haven't opened the window. Oh, time for Mrs. Osa to wake up. Oh, that was another thing I noticed. So, when you sell stuff, you get an environmental score for selling it. Not everywhere. I've sold tomatoes at the grocery store, which is right next to my farm, and I've sold tomatoes down at the distribution center, whatever it's called. You get a environmental score bonus at the place that so the import-export location, you do not get an environmental score bonus at the market, at the grocery store. So, oops, that's weird. Fine. Okay. So, something to be aware of. Just because the price of something is good at one place does not mean that's the best place to sell it. So that's the bakery. We own the bakery, so I have no idea if the bakery has bonus environmental score or not, because we haven't sold anything there. This place up on our left here, this gives you environmental score bonus when you sell stuff at it. So yay, good stuff. And at the moment, since I have to go and pick up bread to sell, it's worthwhile bringing the tomatoes down here. So whatever that place is called, we could look at the map. We are here. Hello. Oh, Maypole Exports. And then over here, that's Piglet Supermarket. Piglet Supermarket, no environmental score bonus. So, if we go, not looking at the silage, let's look at bread. Piglet Supermarket 1,300, Maypole Exports 1,200, but you get whatever your environmental score bonus is, which for me is about 10%. So I would get 1,320 selling bread at Maypole Exports. So that can be a big deal if you've got a good environmental score. If you have an absolutely appalling environmental score, or an environmental score that results in a penalty, go sell your stuff at the grocery store, because they won't penalise you for having bad environmental score. Okay, have fun with the driving. Anyway, well, we've actually used 1% of the harvester. That's one of the mods I do not have, is the hire purchase, lease to own. I tend to not use those sorts of things in real life, so I kind of haven't sorted out on Farm Sim either. But as I said, what we're doing at the moment is we're trying to cover the cost of renting this harvester. Total lease cost so far, we're less than an hour in, so we're doing kind of okay. I suppose let's look at the leasing costs when we get to the field, because I've leased this, the trailer and the header. All three are in the Agco Harvester mod pack, and you do get red versions as well as green versions. Okay, let's unfold it so that the front lifts up. And again, this